spooky fast. What they?
I I read the paper this morning as I always do, and there was an inordinate number of articles that referenced Halloween in some weird way.
Mm-hmm.
The one was something like here, these spooky stories of hotel problems, blah blah blah. And it's like, guys, I get that it's Halloween, but this is going to exist out in the continuum for the rest of your lives. Like the fact that you did this on Halloween shouldn't matter in the long term. So the Apple event was a little like that. I guess you're already doing Hollywood style special effects. I mean, why not make it like, oh, it's fun? We could put ooh, I just, I don't know. That just seemed kind of pointless to me, but
Yeah, I
so
mean,
did the actual products. I
so Apple announced their M3 lineup, I guess if you want to call it that. It's really a lot of the same old stuff with just a better,
yeah.
faster chip, which.
Let me ask you a question and because this seems implausible,
Mm-hmm.
but Qualcomm just had their event. Qualcomm spent a lot of time comparing their new chips to the M2,
Mm-hmm.
right? All of the rumors, they go up and down, obviously, but the recent rumors for Apple suggested they were going to hold off on this stuff until next year. But then they were like, oh, no, I guess we're not going to do this now. We're going to do it like in the second last day of October. Do you think Qualcomm's prodding had anything to do with it? It's like you might have had a
No.
minuscule advantage in some tests, but now you don't. Do you think that was no? I know
I
it
think
sounds
Apple's
crazy.
going to do what Apple's going to do. I,
Yeah. All right.
I
Yeah.
mean,
I don't
it's
know.
it's Qualcomm. Like they're.
No, I know. I know. I'm working on this. This evolving theory in my brain that Qualcomm is like the most hated company in tech. And no, I mean, there's something about them that I think just rubs everyone the wrong way, including the companies that partner with it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And I I don't know. I just think in some sort of petty
it's an
Apple
interesting
way, they could kind of just want to bitch slap them a little bit.
because part of me was like, well, it's because they don't really. It's not that they don't do anything, right? They make advanced chips. There's no argument there. But then,
Yeah.
like Intel's the same way, and AMD's the same way, and Nvidia's the same way. But when you hear those companies' names, you're not like, oh, like that's Qualcomm. Like,
Well, okay, but I'm going to compare them to Intel. Like Intel is currently still dominant in this one market and is an utter failure everywhere else. And by the way, there is a legacy of them not being on the ball in the PC space, right? They didn't do the 64-bit thing correctly. They're
yeah,
just they've been behind kind of for a long time. They didn't adopt the thin and light stuff that Microsoft's been begging them for God, 15 years now. I don't 10 at least. Their solution to ARM was to make the Atom. I mean, are you serious? Like it's just laughable. Like they don't deserve to be where they are anymore. Like the fact that they're. I don't mean to say like I like the fact that they're spiraling or whatever, but when you make so many strategic mistakes, like you kind of deserve what happens to you. And I feel like Qualcomm's kind of the same thing. Like Qualcomm really started off as like a chipset maker for modems, basically. They were part of the GSM wave,
mm-hmm.
20 years ago, whenever that was. They kind of fell into microprocessors for SoCs for mobile devices, and now they make chipsets for everything, and they differentiate their chipsets between like, wearables, IoT, smartphones, tablets, PCs, etc. poorly, right? So poorly that this is their last chance in the PC space. And they had to switch to a new architecture, RISC-V for wearables. Like they may not be that good at what they do, you know? And I just think like, partners like Microsoft, it's like enough with these guys. And I know Apple does this with everybody, but I mean, Apple, I'm sure it's got to be the most awful thing they have to, like the fact that they can't create their own like 5G chipsets yet or whatever they're working on. They have to keep going with Qualcomm. It must make them insane. Like
Mm-hmm.
they can't wait to get rid of this company. I just feel like these two companies are paralleling each other right now,
Yeah,
They're there because of inertia. And
mm-hmm.
this is not where the innovation's happening. AMD, if I was going to buy a computer right now, I would go for whatever AMD Ryzen with AI. That would be my decision. And then we'll see a year from now if there's some ARM stuff going on that makes sense. We'll see. But I I don't. What is it? 13. What are we on? 13. So 12th and 13th gen chips. They still have this problem with the USB docks. No one seems to be talking about this. But when you connect them to docks, they stop working. The the computer I'm using right now, by the way,
Mm-hmm.
AMD, on the dock, because I can't trust like these Intel systems to work properly. And actually, it is perhaps telling that the two computers I have here in Mexico that stay here are an 11th gen Intel system, right, which is before the architecture switchover. It works fine on the dock, and the AMD, which also works fine on the dock.
Hmm.
Right? I just fell. I didn't fall into it. It was one of those kind of things like I need this stuff to work. I don't know how we got off on this. Anyway, Apple something black, I guess.
Yeah, there's new space black. They made a big deal about that. I don't know why. It's a
Yep.
iPhone color from yesterday or something.
Oh, but speaking of which, so they were spinning it up the new color, and they were doing the little video they do. I thought they were going to say titanium,
Yeah, that's
which
where I thought they were going too. But
in retrospect doesn't make sense, right? These machines are made of aluminum. They wouldn't make one of. I mean, although going back to titanium, pretty cool, right? That was the
yeah,
big power book they did, the G4, I think it was. Um, I thought that was going to be it. I thought that would to me would have been kind of cool.
or maybe shrinking that notch. I don't know. But like, yeah.
Exactly. Oh my god, we got rid of the touch bar. Yeah, but what about this thing?
They did say it is like the world's best display, except for that little like big black blob. Like,
Yeah, it's a Retina display that has a retinal tear in it. Yeah, it's just
can we start referring to that spot as glaucoma?
I always call it the mote in God's eye.
God.
Thank you, Jerry Parnell.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Well, they did that.
Yep, that was 35 minutes of my life wasted.
Yeah, they're really.
Why even spin up a video for this thing, guys? Just release it. Jeez Louise. We get it. It's faster. Okay, good. They lowered the price on the base one. Although, by the way, the base one is a 2-port MacBook Air wannabe. I mean, I don't know. Why do you have an Air and a sort of Pro and a Pro? Just to have Air and Pro, for crying out loud, guys. Jeez.
Or just MacBook and MacBook Pro.
Fair enough.
What is the Air anymore? Like it's
I know. Well, they do the iPad too, right? I mean, they have an iPad.
I might even say it's an error in branding.
Ooh,
see what I did there? See what I did there?
Yep.
That was really dumb.
Right.
Microsoft's going to start blocking unofficial accessories on your Xbox. So if you buy your Mad Catz controller at the dollar store, might not work after.
I just sort of pause for 10 seconds to think about what could the market be for this, unofficial. It's like, well, I guess you just don't get the Xbox license. You don't pay for it, but you put a product out in the world or something.
Yeah, pretty much. Like you didn't want to pay for that certification, which Microsoft probably takes an X% of your sale or whatever.
Yeah, of course they do. Yeah, it's probably the same as the App Store. It's probably 30%, some stupid thing like that. But, right? It's got.
I have no idea.
Well, no, it can't be 30%, but.
No, I'm sure it's not.
I would charge 30% for anything in the modern world. That doesn't make any sense. Oh, right. I don't know. That's why they're so cheap.
Yeah, there's that. Call of Duty, the campaign, I think drops tonight or tomorrow. It's real soon.
Does not matter to me, Brad. I'm here in Mexico without an Xbox, but I'm gonna take a look. I love those maps so much.
Hey, how's that Pixel 8 working out for you, by the way?
Oof. I have a Pixel 6a here. Sometimes I just look at it and wish. I will say I'll have a review of the iPhone soon, the 15 Pro Max. There have been many times I wish I had the other camera, the Pixel camera, and one of them was that full moon we just got, right? So my wife has a Samsung Galaxy. It takes these astronomy shots of the moon with all the details. It's beautiful. I can take a picture of a blurry white disc. I tried it with a tripod. It doesn't matter what I do. The iPhone cannot take this photo. And that to me is a problem. Not because you need to take photos of the moon, but I think that's emblematic of just the zoom and how things can work.
Is that the fake moon though, Paul?
Yeah, no, it could be. But I mean, with my Pixel, I could also take shots of it. So I'm not saying astrophotography is a big thing, but it is one of those things Pixel did, several years ago now, and has sort of advanced a little bit over time. It's a cool thing, but I think it just speaks to the well, probably to the computational photography stuff. And I don't know. I like there's a view out west, I guess, of here that I'm just love. It's part of the city where there's more skyscrapers, and it's way out there. I have no idea where it is or what it is. But on clear days, you can get really nice shots of it. But not with this phone because nothing, like they're still blurry. The Pixel, I could get these things that looked like I was, there. So there's still that little gap. I don't know. Anyway, I'll next week. Thanks for bringing it up. Doesn't hurt me. Okay.